Hey there, I'm Mr. Terry. I'm a high school history teacher. Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video. Hope you all had a great Christmas. Today we're back with some more Drew Durnil because this video sounded interesting because it's titled Flags That Almost Became Official. By the way, thanks again to Drew. He came over to my charity stream last week and hung out with us for a while. That was very cool of him to do, and I'm very appreciative. And thanks again to everybody that came out and watched and donated and was a part of that. By the way, in keeping that show up, because it's like 5 hours of a lot of fun with a bunch of different big YouTube guests. And I'll link that at the end of this video. All right, let's learn about flags. The original video is linked down below. Make sure you're supporting Drew. And let's get started. All right, so flags are always cool. And it's always interesting to me how big the flag appreciation community is on YouTube. Always like hearing your feedback and what you guys think are good flags and stuff. And hopefully get an opportunity in this video, and I'll tell you what I think. But let's see what Drew's got here. So again, flags that almost became official.
It's really hard to imagine countries having different flags than what we know today. So many are often
been a lot of
synonymous
change
with
over
the nation
time.
itself now. But for some of these places, with just a few minor tweaks throughout history, they could have been totally different. Sometimes for better, or for so much worse. The flag for the nation of Canada is today pretty iconic, but it was only officially adopted about 50 years ago.
What was it before that?
Meanwhile, you have nations like Denmark with an 8...
Wait, what was it before? Or was it just the British flag? Because they're like, you can't have your own flag. All right, you're still part of Britain, and you still are, by the way. I think it's iconic. It's simple, and it's got the flag. I mean, it's got the maple leaf, right? It's like
so much worse. The flag for the nation.
It's iconic for their trade and their identity. I think it's great.
Canada
I love the Canadian
is
flag.
today pretty iconic, but it was only officially adopted about 50 years ago.
It was like
Meanwhile,
before.
you have nations like Denmark with an 800-year-old flag. Obviously, there was a big desire to remove the Union Jack from Canada. This was their old flag. However, this was one of the first...
So what's going on here? Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's too complicated. All right, I've said this before because I heard this once and I still believe this. A good flag can be recreated by a child. If it's more complicated than that, and I don't mean like an infant, okay, toddler, but like you should be able to do it if you're in elementary school. Fair? If it's more than that, it's too busy. It's not a good flag. It's not going to be memorable.
To remove the Union Jack from Canada, this was their old flag. However, this was one of the first proposed Canadian flags in 1930.
Big Dipper.
Maybe they were trying to stick to the Australian and New Zealand theme, but
true.
I don't know. This was the
Big Dippers you see from the northern hemisphere. It points towards the North Star, by the way.
Star and leaf proposal. They just wanted to add stars, I guess, to it.
Could be worse.
It's green, though. And here's another proposal made during the Great Flag Debate of 1964.
French looking on the left.
Get your opinion on all of these. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel.
That just looks like that looks like there on the left, just like very French. Like it'd be like a bunch of like the fleur de lis, but like it's just replaced with the maple leaves. And maybe I don't know. Maybe that pay homage to like the French population in Canada. I don't know. The second one, I don't like the stems. Third one, it's all right. I think the leaf would have
Debate of 1964. I'm really curious to get your opinion on all of these. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. It helps out a lot. Shows me you like these same subjects as I do. I actually still see some Canadians to this day that wish they would have gone with...
Drew gave some good insight too on his channel and kind of YouTube in general when he was on. He's on at about the middle of the show. I don't know if anybody's done timestamps on when the guests come on during my show, but it's about kind of in the middle or so. It was a 5-hour stream. He probably came on around 2.5 hours in. And he talks about some stuff, and it's really insightful because, I mean, he's a huge YouTuber.
With this one, I like the added blue. Another nation that came up with their flag relatively recently, the flag of the People's Republic of China is actually only about 75 years old. However, this is what Mao Zedong himself proposed. I didn't realize he was making flag proposals. They also did have a version where they actually included the hammer and sickle.
It's too Russian,
there were these two official proposals in 1949 for some reason that needed to add blue. I really wish I knew why. Okay, this is just North Korea.
I mean, it makes sense for China because, I mean, you had the China Civil War. I mean, they literally overthrew their government. It's like a new China. So if you're a completely new regime, it's a new China. They ended the dynastic cycle, right? That lasted 3,000 years. Kind of makes sense that it'd be time to get a new flag. All right, Vietnam.
Korea. Did someone just say it's Tonga time? That is
Wait, that's not North.
To wish I knew why. Okay, this is just North Korea. Did someone just say it's Tonga time? That is literally the island nation of Tonga's flag. There is actually so many proposals for the People's Republic of China, they ended up just kind of putting proposal number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. It just kept going and going and going. I do like that they took this stuff real seriously. It's also fascinating to see these flag proposals back 75 years ago. Some of these are giving me Spain vibes. I don't know. It's easy to understand why there's a vexology community.
That actually is a pretty cool flag. Where'd it go?
Some of these are
that one, yeah. It'd be like, yeah, that does look like if, okay, the Spanish Civil War in the 30s goes a different way and the communists win. And Franco loses. Here's Spain.
Giving me Spain vibes.
Communist Spain.
I don't know. It's easy to understand why there's a vexology community nowadays, but I don't know. This seems like such a micro niche internet community. It's crazy to think they were doing it so long ago. Speaking of Denmark, though they have had arguably the world's oldest flag, they did still have debates about flags.
That version was from the 1200s.
And that is due to their overseas territory of Greenland, which is currently sporting this flag. But there's been
I'm disappointed Greenland didn't do anything with, or sorry, Denmark hasn't done anything with Greenland. They haven't done anything with it. It's like a few thousand people. Basically, everyone in Greenland knows each other because you all live basically in the same part. It's like, you do something with it.
Basically proposals to change that
I don't care if it lacks other resources.
70s, sometimes even further back than that. What I don't understand is why they didn't go with the Nordic style. All these countries agreed to do the same sort of format for their flag. Yet Denmark, for their overseas territory, couldn't agree to do this same thing. Like, how did they mess this up? I feel like they had one job. Like, really? Look at all this. You look at the uniformity.
I don't think it seems that far
and then
off.
there's
it
makes you feel better that there were several proposals throughout the 90s and 70s to go with the Nordic cross. For some reason, a tricolor here. Here's one from 1978. Anonymous proposal. Are we sure they were anonymous? It seems like someone from the nation of Somalia could have suggested that one. While we're on this subject, the nation of Estonia has always wanted to join the Nordics, and I think the only thing that's really keeping them out is their official flag. It doesn't follow the template. One thing for Greenland not to follow it, that's just an overseas territory that Denmark controls. Estonia, you cannot be an independent nation and just think you could join the Nordics with this tricolor. However, over the course of the last 100 years, they've actually known that. They've been trying to go.
I like the left one. Anybody down with this left one? The far left and the far right one. I like both of those. Those are way better than Estonia's.
Oh, with the Nordic style. Oh man, just push one of these through. It doesn't even matter. You know, I was going to start talking about the topic of Germany by saying it's hard to imagine any other flag to fly over this country, but actually, no, I think we all can imagine some other ones. Again, this is another flag that isn't really that old. This one was only adopted only over 30 years ago. However, after World War I, this man suggested just turning Germany into Nordic.
Okay, I don't know. Is it just like the Nordic looking cross that I like? But like, I think that looks great too on the left. Unfortunately, again, it's very similar to all the northern neighbors of Germany, but I think that's nice. It's nicer than the one now.
World War I, this man suggested just turning Germany into Nordic. We're talking a lot about Nordic flags recently. There was also a 1948
so if you're from like Bavaria,
to do a tricolor, but vertically. These two brothers were also trying to force Germany into Nordic with this style. Now, I personally love the present-day official Indian flag. I love flags with orange in it. Again, a flag only officially established about 75 years ago.
I always forget the word. What do they call the symbol there in India?
Indian flag. I love flags with orange. Again, a flag only officially established about 75 years ago. However, Gandhi himself, yes.
Well, context, 1947, that's when India became independent of Britain. So, new flag, of course.
Gandhi, Civ 5, without the nukes. That's right, this man, he was out here suggesting flags. He at first suggested this in 1921, then he went with this instead.
Yeah. Well, it was all about self-sufficiency, right? It was like, you know, the British in their colonies forever, go back to old American colonies, wanted you to buy manufactured textiles, you know, from Britain. And people were like, that's ridiculous. We can make our own, which is technically illegal. And Gandhi's whole thing was about economic independence. And Americans did that too by boycotting and trying to make their own goods and stuff, but yeah, especially with India. That was Gandhi's big thing, independence, right? So start making your own clothes and be self-sufficient, right? And that's what the whole weaving wheel was supposed to represent.
It's basically Bulgaria,
but that's an ugly flag.
Something else over it. I'm sorry, Gandhi.
Don't get me wrong.
I respect what you did, but I'm starting to question.
So you could do that and simplify it. I mean, they could use that symbol and make it that they actually have on the flag and try to relate it to like spinning like a yarn
else
wheel
over it.
that
I'm
way.
sorry, Gandhi. I respect what you did, but I'm starting to question your vexology skills. This man tried to continue with that theme, but man, I don't know.
It's 47. Why would you still have the British flag
made
there?
by Anglo-India Weekly in 1904. What the hell is that? It must be a newspaper. Speaking of orange flags, here's Ireland's. Here's a proposal made in 1928, just throwing on pretty much every
harp?
shield they could think of. Also an anonymous proposal. Got to throw the Lucky Charms up there.
Italian.
I don't despise this, but it also
Irish.
looks like really, I don't know, like a very young kid came up with this. How about
That's fine. See, I what Drew said, I'm fine with that. I think a young kid should come up with it. I think young people should design the flag, a creative one. And at least, again, I mean, it doesn't have to be from a young kid, but I still believe it should be simple enough that a older child should be able to recreate it. That's not a bad flag. I don't know if the clover is necessary, but I like all the rest of it.
this, but it also looks like really, I don't know, like a very young kid came up with this. How about Kosovo? Oh boy. It's one thing when like nations had like flag proposals from decades ago that are horrible, but it's a complete different thing when they're relatively recent and they're horrible.
Well, and that's just, well, hold on, that's just them.
That are horrible, but it's a
I feel like this flag is a political statement because Serbia does not recognize the independence of Kosovo. But like it's just like sticking it to Serbia, where it's like, here, our flag is literally the border. We're gonna draw the border that you, Serbia, decline is legitimate. It's like the ultimate in your face, I guess. Trying to put that back in their
different
face.
Thing when they're relatively recent and they're horrible. Then again, our U.S. state of Minnesota recently had 2,500 designs submitted to change their state flag, and there were plenty of terrible options. Here are some flag proposals from 2008 for Kosovo. I actually kind of like the black, white, and red, but I feel like this one's got to be saved for when like France completely loses their mind.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna pull up something.
Throwing in that Albanian symbol for the Kosovo flag. Now that's an interesting one. Not only is Estonia trying into Nordic, I guess supposedly Latvia is as well. I mean, if Estonia eventually gets in, I don't see why they can't go one country down after that. Of course, the nation of Lithuania.
Is there, I gotta know a little bit more about Baltic history stuff. Does Estonia have more of a, like an argument for being considered that way, like a Nordic state? Because they're closer? Is there an ancestry or whatever that makes them more, I guess, Nordic than the others? Let me know down below.
Most Baltic nation also has a Nordic style cross proposal. That was back in 2011. It's crazy how some of these flag proposals can be just as popular as the official flag. This is the nation of Luxembourg, and this was the official flag proposal back in 2006. You can't even Google search Luxembourg flag without seeing the lion. Like this is pretty popular. Part of the reason though is because that is their official coat of arms. So there's always been a push to change up the Luxembourg flag since it is almost identical to that of the Netherlands. I mean, it's one thing to copy someone's flag from halfway across the world, but come on, you guys are literally in the same group together. The lowland nations. Speaking of countries where flag proposals sometimes become more popular than the official flag, here's Australia. They've been having flag problems.
By the way, because most of the world has a northern hemisphere bias. This image you see, the constellations, the Southern Cross. So the Southern Cross is very close to what would be the Southern Pole. In the Southern Hemisphere. Can only be seen if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's like our North Star. This is like their version of it. By the way, what I wanted to show you, if you saw me pulling up my windows there, I want to get y'all's opinions on this. So there's a new state flag that was passed, and it's Utah's state flag. And I think it's awesome. I actually think it's really good. What do you guys think of this? So like, here's the history if you understand. So the Beehive, also known as like the Beehive State, when Mormon settlers came into Utah, bees and like harvesting bees was like a big thing. And yeah, it's also known again as the Beehive State. Now I don't know what the star is supposed to represent. I'll be honest, I don't know. Now you get the blue, white, and red, and it's cool because what's it supposed to represent is, okay, you got your blue sky, right? And then the white cap mountains. Right. So Utah, known for its mountains, great skiing, great snow and stuff like that. And then the ground is red. Now in southern Utah, that's where you have the red rock territory. So it was red, white, and blue, like United States, but the red is supposed to give like a homage to southern Utah and then the white mountains of northern Utah. I think it's a slick looking flag, and it goes by all the rules that I feel like make a good flag. So I want to give props to the Utahns for passing or their government, whatever it is, however this got passed, went through their legislation. I think it's really good looking. What do you think? Let me know down below.
Has become more popular than the official flag. Here's Australia. And they've been having flag problems for a while.
They don't have today, though.
When you Google Australia flag, is a proposal. It's hard.
For some reason, I don't know why I didn't imagine the Australian flag with with the star that's actually in the bottom left, though.
Sometimes become more popular than the official flag. Here's Australia. And they've been having flag problems for a while. I mean, the third result when you Google Australia
kangaroo,
flag
that would
is
have
a
been
proposal.
sweet.
It's hard to officially change.
Get rid of the British
so I guess
crap.
It shouldn't be surprising that like overall proposals can be more popular than the official. And Australia has had quite a lot of proposals. I mean, I think they're just trying to somehow smash the green in there, since that is the official color of Australia. It's actually green and gold, yet their flag use neither one of these. You had two chances.
Let go of the British.
But your flag uses
time.
white, blue, and red.
Time.
I mean,
You're not
again,
convicts anymore.
The nation's flag is probably on the lower end of the priority list, but I wonder who's going to eventually do it first. It's only a matter of time. Now, there's technically no official flag of Earth yet. This is probably the most popular with 7 rings representing these 7 continents. Already, that's controversial.
Should just be the English.
We don't even agree on how many continents there are. Yeah, that's definitely not even passing already. However, this was an official flag proposal for the flag of Earth back in 1913. I kid you not. I can't believe it either. The World Peace Flag by James William Van Kirk. Also, the Olympic flag has been proposed for the flag of Earth. The UN, I don't think that's going to work. Literally just an Earth flag. Okay, you can't just throw all the flags in there. Why are these so insane sometimes?
Gosh.
I don't think you use that symbol. Man, this Paul Carroll guy really going hard that we should
be
just
an outline of
all the flags with, like, he's changing them up slightly with like the middle part.
That's a good question. I might put that as the pin question. What should be the flag of Earth?
He's committed to this idea.
Like,
he's been
legitimately.
suggesting it since literally the 1980s. Let's talk about the tragedy of the Welsh flag, the flag that is not represented on the current Union Jack. The United Kingdom is made up of...
Love it. See, okay, so this does break the rule of it being too complicated, but it's cool. You got a freaking, like, dragon, griffin thing.
Welsh flag, the flag that is not represented on the current Union Jack. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 kingdoms, but only 3 of them are represented on the official flag. And I've heard from British people because they decided to make their flag green and with a giant dragon on it. So no, they're not included in the Union Jack. However, looking at the other flag proposals, that probably is the best one to come up with. These other ones are so boring and unmotivated. Speaking of the United Kingdom, here are some other flags we almost got. These were all in 1604. I mean, they almost went with just completely excluding Ireland. They were just going Scotland and England. That might have been understandable though, since they hadn't conquered all this stuff up here yet. You can see this proposed Union Jack a little bit more similar to the modern day one.
Not bad, actually, that middle one. Than just like the regular, like today's kind of Union Jack. I like that, actually.
And here's another proposal incorporating the Irish harp. Here's the only official proposal with the Welsh dragon. Yeah,
if they had to have a Union Jack in it, like, okay, that would be acceptable.
Do that. That's like attempt though. I think this one's a bit more popular to at least include yellow, which is kind of a way to help include Wales there. And here's a proposed Union Jack in the event of a Scottish independence. Now, the territory of Crimea is not an independent country, but I have seen this flag often. This is their
under the occupation of Russia since 2014. And then it was Russian territory before World War II and a lot of things.
Show one of the proposals. It seems like a lot of the vexology community has always been
obsessed
with the rainbow style. Whether it's the flag of Earth, the territory of Crimea, or this flag proposal for the nation of Armenia. And again, this was back in 1918. There's also the Bolivian flag proposal. Yeah. This one is still popular. I believe it's supposed to represent the indigenous communities in the country.
You know what, actually? Okay.
I feel like there hasn't...
It'd be kind of cool. I think you could... I don't like the right side of it. If you almost just made the rest of this white and then had the different colors here, I think that would be okay.
So this one is still popular. I believe it's supposed to represent the indigenous communities in the country. I feel like there hasn't been a nation more than Norway that's had more proposed flags. And a lot of them aren't necessarily in the Nordic cross style. Again, part of the reason too is that, well, maybe they've always been more obsessed with flag making in the Nordic countries. Because again, Denmark has one of the oldest, and they're very serious on keeping with a theme up there. This is giving me like a Central American vibe.
Yeah,
the flag proposals from 1814, 1821. Part of the reason is Norway was given independence around that time. Well, actually, it was switched from Denmark to Swedish, but yeah, they got their independence in 1905. They were working on that flag for a while, though. My patrons on Patreon, thank you. Carino is...
All right, final thoughts. All right, so what'd you think of the flags? Did you think that any of those proposed ones should have been switched out? I mean, you heard my thoughts about some of them. So anyways, asked a few questions. What do you think of that new Utah flag? And what do you think the flag of Earth should be? Let me know down below. All right, we'll see y'all next time. Bye.